Good morning. It's 7 o'clock on a Tuesday. This episode should be released on Wednesday. And on Thursday, I will start my 82-hour race. 82 hours or 200 miles, whichever one comes first. So as I was laying there this morning, I thought, oh my gosh, I have to record the intro right now for this episode. I haven't done it yet. So I apologize for this being so quick, and I'm going to stick to the important parts. I was actually just thinking, who's playing this weekend? Because usually I talk about that. I have no idea. I'm sure all my friends are playing somewhere. So just go to all the social media channels and check them out. I do know that Clay has a new trivia spot. Clay Christofferson is hosting trivia at District Brewing, and that starts tonight, because this will be released on Wednesday. So it starts on Wednesdays at District Brewing. So super happy for him. I really love their pizza. So you should go and support Clay and tell him I said hi. Okay, so for this episode, we talk about Greg Johnson, and he has, I believe it's a song or an album called Solveig's Shadow. And it was recorded, or it was made possible by Mercury Sky Records in Humboldt County, California. That was one thing that Michael Dayvid wanted me to add into the intro. So sorry about that. We forgot that in the episode. And yeah, it's such a great episode. Again, I did not know Michael Dayvid. He showed up to my house, a stranger. I had first heard about him in in Canada. Emmanuel from Bazzini's told me about him. And then my realtor, who I was sitting across from, recording a podcast with, she told me about him. And then I just started seeing him on social media, and he plays a lot. I mentioned in the episode, he plays a lot like Zach Michaud does. They have a lot in common for sure. Both one of my favorite, hardworking musicians. So it's been fun getting to know him over the last few weeks. And I really enjoyed his show at Eagle Haven. After we recorded, I went to his show that night, and it was really fun. Olive and CJ came, and our buddy Kyle, and yeah, it was a really good time. It was really, really fun getting to know the people at Eagle Haven too. I think I'll be going there a lot. Okay, so my race that's coming up, it's a 200 miler, and it's a 9-ish mile loop that I do 21 or 22 times. I forget how that works. One loop might be longer than all the others, just to make up the miles for the 200. I have a giant duffel bag that was bought for me from Dan. Thanks, Dan. I have a giant laundry tub that has a bunch of supplies in it. I have a smaller duffel bag, and another backpack. So that's all the gear that I need. And I borrowed Kyle's van. Thanks, Kyle. Camper van. CJ and Olive will come down the first day and hang out with me the first night, and then part of the second day. Then they're leaving. And hopefully I have a friend showing up Saturday night. And other than that, it's just me and the other racers. So I'm really, really excited. I'm overly confident that I can do it. I figured out all my pacing, and my goal is 70 miles the first day, 60 miles the second day, 60 miles the third day, and then 10 miles the last day. So one loop on the last day. Not exactly sure how I'm going to get home. I don't know if I'll be able to drive home. So I might be too tired or too sore. I'll be posting race updates on my personal Instagram, Liz Rankin 80, and I think that goes to Facebook too. So yeah, I'll be running or walking and sleeping and eating over the next few days. And then when we get back, it's Memorial Day. So I'll be recovering on Memorial Day, and then hopefully I can teach the next day. That's my goal, is to be able to walk and teach. Okay, so talked about my race. Olive's softball is going really well. She got like 6 outs yesterday when she was on first base. They did really well. They lost, but it was only 3-2. I was really proud of them. They've really improved. Softball, music. I'm sure there's lots coming out. Oh yeah, and the Mountain Film Festival. The Mountain Film Festival is June 1st through the 4th. And again, our big day is Saturday, June 3rd. Mike McKnight's coming up, and he's going to hang out with us, show his awesome movie directed by Matthew Van Horn, and it's going to be a really, really fun time, and it's definitely going to sell out. So make sure you get your tickets online, mountainsonfilm.com. And Olive and I are doing a presentation with a few other awesome women at 1 o'clock. Mike's thing is at 6 o'clock, and there's also a 5K in Concrete at 10 o'clock. So come on out to Concrete, spend the whole day there. You'll have enough to do for sure. And it's just a really great little town that I hope that more people get exposed to. Okay, I'm almost at 6 minutes. I don't even think I'm going to edit this. So I hope you guys enjoy Michael Dayvid. It's Dayvid. He plays quite often, usually in Whatcom County. He plays around here a little bit, but definitely just check him out on Facebook or Instagram. So Michael, Michael, Dayvid, Dayvid, and you'll see all his stuff. And head to his website because he has this whole list of, hundreds of songs that he can cover, and you just request them while you're sitting there. You go on your phone and submit a little form, and then he'll finish his song and he'll look at his phone and he'll say, "Oh, CJ wants me to play Blink 182. All right, sure." And then he'll play it. It's really neat. I don't see many people doing stuff like that. So yeah, it's cool to have, different varieties of music in the Valley. I love it. That's it. Okay, I'm going to edit this and then go run 200 miles. If you're a praying person, please pray for me or send me good vibes. Or you could just show up in Renton too. It's around Lake Young. Just show up and walk with me for 9 miles or bring your bike. I'm not sure what kind of state I'll be in. I might be hallucinating at any point when you're there, so I apologize in advance. And yeah, I'll let you guys know on my next podcast how it went. Okay, have a great day. Go do something hard.
Howdy, partner. Welcome to one of the most northern parts of the United States of America. Travel with me upriver as we talk to a bunch of ladies and fellers and they share their tales of wit and wisdom. That's right, it's time again for Skagit Storytellers with Liz Rankin.
And then I thought, oh, they have vinyl. Like, I'm going to buy it on vinyl. So there was one copy left. So I bought it. And then I'm like eagerly like watching the tracking. I've never watched the tracking of anything until I got this. I'm like, oh my God, it's almost here. And it was out for delivery.
Okay.
And then it disappeared.
Oh no.
I think the mailman took it. I know. Because he was like, he realized what it was. And he's like, that's it. It's mine. And then I tried to reorder it and they were sold out.
No.
Yeah. I know. I was so sad. But yeah, the Dawes show was incredible.
What venue was it at?
It was at the Neptune.
Okay.
Which I want to see any band at the Neptune at any point. But the whole place was singing all your favorite bands. And then they were singing Things Happen. And yeah, they had never sold out Seattle before, so they were really excited. And yeah, it was cool. It was a long day. I worked all day at the liquor store in Concrete. There was a show at the liquor store. I had to leave the show early to drive down to Seattle. There was construction. I'm thinking, what am I doing? Is this worth it? It was so fun back there. Why did I? And then I got there and there was no opener. It was just them. They played for almost 3 hours.
Dang.
I know. And I actually had an extra ticket and I couldn't find anyone to bring.
Oh my gosh.
And so I thought it was worth it.
What an experience.
I know. It was really great. And I went with some coworkers that, so I'm a teacher and like you never really get a full conversation in the hallway, So
right.
It was really nice to drive down with them and just really have like a meaningful like talk. And it was really cool. On the way back, I said, how did you guys meet? And they said, oh, just in college. I'm like, tell me more. And they probably talked the whole way back.
Wow.
I said, see, we could have recorded this, you guys. Like, because I've asked them before and they're like, no, like, what are we going to talk about? I'm like, your story of how you met was really incredible.
Wow.
They're like, yeah, maybe it is. So anyway, so it was really fun. So now like that's all I listen to is that Dawes album. My friends give me music recommendations. I'm like, I just need 2 more weeks with this album. Yeah. So anyway, so you're a Dawes fan.
I am familiar with some Dawes. I don't follow them, but I have some family and some of my music students who will send me Dawes stuff and say like, "Oh, I want to learn this song," or "I think you really like this one." And so,
is it all your
I've been
favorite bands?
Exposed
That song?
No,
Okay.
I haven't heard that one yet.
What song do they want to learn? Things Happen?
I
No,
play a little bit of everything.
Okay.
And
Yeah, that's a
then
good one.
The one about dogs, was that Run?
Oh, I don't know.
I think
Is
it's
it a sad song
just
about
called
dogs?
Run. I mean, it's very slow. It's kind of like it's kind of like a heartwarming song.
Yeah, that's what their stuff is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It definitely has like a heavy mood
Yeah.
about it, but it's not like about losing a dog.
Yeah.
It's just like, anytime I see you, I will run is the chorus.
Aww.
Perform professionally. This is my main income, and so I'm playing usually 3 to 4 shows a week, sometimes 5. And then I teach private lessons, music lessons during the day.
Cool.
So I have guitar students and piano students primarily. And then I have one student I really enjoy working with who's doing composition and like high level music theory.
Oh, wow.
And that's the geeky stuff that just I get a huge thrill out of.
Did you like go to college for music theory or?
No, I'm self-taught. I did have a couple of theory courses that I took at a junior college. I was only there for a few semesters before I dropped out and got married.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Did you drop out because you got married?
No, I dropped out because my girlfriend moved out of town, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna move too. She was going to college. She went to college in a very different area of California, and so I just followed her.
So, are you from California or are you from here?
California.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I always like to say too, like, I always like to talk about how we met. I've never met you.
Right.
5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
But
we
actually,
met in the driveway.
your name first came up when I was in Canada, like maybe 2 months ago now. I was in this small bar in Chilliwack, and the guy mentioned the owner mentioned how he comes down to Bellingham and he sees some shows, and yeah, Michael Dayvid, he's really good. I'm like, oh, okay. And then you came up again. My realtor was sitting right there. She's one of the ones that's putting on Skagit Bigfoot Fest.
Ah, okay.
And she goes, you should interview Michael Dayvid. I'm like, oh my God, I just heard about him. Yeah, sure. So, and then I feel like since then, because your phone's always listening to you, I feel like you just kept coming up, and I was like, God, this guy plays a lot. Like, right. I think you and Zach Michaud play a lot. Like, yes. You two are the top.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Zach?
I have. Yeah.
Yeah, Zach's a really cool guy. He's been here like 3 times.
Nice. Zach's
album, so his album came out 4/20. That's when he wanted to put it out.
Dope.
And I said, well, you were not sure if you were going to have it out on time. He's like, well, I kind of had to because my producer is going on tour. I'm like, oh, cool. His producer is going on tour in Europe with Tenacious D.
What?
Yeah. So his name is Steel Beans. That's like his act name. His name is Jeremy. I forget your last name. Sorry, Jeremy. But he made a TikTok and it went viral and Tenacious D saw it.
Oh my God.
That's how it happened.
Oh no.
TikTok. I know.
I refuse to join TikTok.
Wait, how old are you?
33.
See, I'm 43 and I'm like, I can't. Like, I think legally I'm not allowed to be on TikTok.
It's like, please enter your birth date. No, you're not allowed to create an account.
You're too old.
Yeah, but this is like the 5th story that I've heard of somebody who just went viral on TikTok.
Like
and,
someone
and
you
all
actually
their dreams came
know.
True. Yes.
Okay, what
somebody
are the other
I met
stories?
in Cedar Woolley.
Who?
Her name is Kendra Norton. She created the reverse coloring book. And so I think they're like maybe 50 pages, giant coloring books. And instead of lines that you add paint to, it's a bunch of watercolor paints that you add lines onto.
What?
It's extremely meditative and just an incredible experience.
Reverse coloring
book, just 3. And I think she said her publisher is talking about putting out a 4th one. But she lives in Bellingham, and when she met me in one of my shows, she was like, what's your TikTok handle? And I was like, I'm not on TikTok. And she said, go on TikTok. I started just posting about the reverse coloring book, and it went viral. I got like 60,000 followers and then a book deal.
What?
Yeah. And so now knowing
we have to go on TikTok.
Well, here's part of my resistance
okay.
is that every social media platform becomes commercialized and then it's no longer cool.
Right.
And I joined Instagram just as it was becoming commercialized. And so it's like, that's my main platform now, and it's not cool. If I jump onto TikTok now, I think it's going to become commercialized within like the next year.
You're going to ruin it.
And then I will be part of what ruins it. So what I'm planning is to wait until TikTok either gets shut down or it just becomes uncool. And then I'll like leapfrog it.
That's awesome.
Onto the next platform.
Oh, I should get her on the podcast. That sounds really cool. I mean, I have 3 coloring books.
Okay.
And I've never heard of a reverse coloring book.
They're
and I'm
awesome.
a little jealous. I want to figure that out. That's cool. Wow.
They're in stores. You can find them online.
Yeah.
Highly recommended.
Wow.
Yeah. Reverse coloring book by Kendra Norton.
Wow. All right. We got to do it.
Here we are talking ourselves into it.
I'll do it first.
Yes.
Okay.
I have 3 studio recordings that I've made over the years. The first one is not great. It was, I learned that Ed Sheeran did his first EP just in one take. There was like, press record and I'll just play all these songs. So I did that too. It was fine.
I love it. But you did it.
I did
That's the important thing. Yeah. And how long was that? What year?
That was 2010, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, 2010. And then that cost me $50. And then when it was time to make another recording, I put $250 into it. And I was like, I'm going to do extra takes and background vocals.
Do they charge you like per minute or per hour?
Most studios are per hour.
Okay, so you did 1 hour before.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. And I don't even think we took that long. I think it was like 40 minutes. And he was like, I'll just spend 20 minutes mixing it and then send it to you. And so
your second one was $250.
The second one was $250.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one definitely spent a lot more time on rehearsing, arranging. We did multiple tracks, things like that.
Yeah.
So this is one that I'm more proud of.
When you say we, like who else do you play with?
I wrote and recorded everything solo.
Okay.
Is the producer, a good friend of mine named Dominic Romano. He
Okay.
lives also from California. Yes. So he and I collaborated on production and figuring out what everything should do.
Yeah.
All the different instruments and
Yeah.
track transitions and things like that.
Oh, cool.
But that recording is called Tea and Secrets.
And is it on
It's on all the
Spotify?
major streaming platforms, Spotify and
Cool.
Apple Music and Amazon and
Cool.
etc.
Nice. Yeah, I'll put links to those. And then do you have a third one you said?
Yes. This one.
How much did that one cost?
I don't know the final number because I had
you're
a sponsor.
doing it right now.
No, I had a sponsor
Oh,
who took care
okay.
of just financing everything. And
Nice.
this is by far the proudest achievement of my musical career. There are, I think we did 6 original songs, and then I did an original arrangement of one of my favorite pieces of classical music.
Oh.
And we did a live strings recording with a string quartet, which was just fantastic.
Wow. That sounds really great.
My friend Dominic co-produced alongside another friend of mine named Greg Johnson. Greg Johnson is a producer and a television composer. And so we had a very cinematic feeling to this whole recording. It's called Solveig's Shadow.
Oh.
Also available on all the streaming platforms.
Yeah.
But last year, Greg, I'm so proud of him. Greg Johnson wrote and recorded all of the music for the Men's World Cup Championship in Qatar.
Whoa.
And so he had his music played at all 8 stadiums where this football tournament was happening.
Wow.
He even did like jingles for the safety videos on Qatar Airways, like airplanes and stuff. And there was this ratings report that, I think it was something like 4 billion people viewed the final match of the Men's World Cup. And so it was like knowing that his music, his original compositions were broadcast to literally half the world.
Oh my God.
I was like, this is amazing. I'm so glad for your opportunities. And so
Yeah.
Greg Johnson, I always love tooting his horn.
And he's in California.
He's in California.
Okay. There to see comedians like a
Oh,
month
yeah.
ago.
I saw their posters.
It was so much fun.
Nice.
And I'm like looking around this place going, I can't believe I live down the road. I've never been here. There was a point where one part of the road, Minkler, was actually flooded. And so we had to go up Sims.
Okay.
And we drove by that place constantly. And I still never went in. But they do a lot of stuff.
They do.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Eagle Haven Winery. I know that they make wines and ciders from their crops on the property. And then they host just tons of different types of events. tonight's performance is actually the second of 3 consecutive weeks that I'll be playing there.
Oh, wow.
I played there last week for an event called Woodfest.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. Okay.
I think it was a county event. Yeah, Skagit County put on this Woodfest event
Oh.
to highlight some of the creativity and technological skills of a lot of the high school population, as well as sort of shining a light on the transition that this area, the Skagit area, has undergone from being like mainly timber
logging
into
town.
now more sort of technological and technically skilled workforces.
Oh, wow.
So that was Woodfest, and I played music there for a couple hours. Tonight I'm just performing. We do a once a month spot for me to just come in and play music for a couple hours.
Cool.
And then next week is the first, I think this is Sunday. Yeah, Sunday the 14th is the first Sunday market of the year.
Oh, they do have markets.
And so they're going to do an artisan and crafters market. I think it's every week.
I think it's every Sunday.
It might be every month, but yeah, pretty sure it's every week.
Yeah.
Definitely worth checking the Eagle Haven Facebook page or their website for details about that.
They post a lot. Yeah. They play quite a bit too. And Wes he's such a great guy. He's been over here. He recorded with me too. And he wrote this beautiful song for his son. Oh. I was asking him, like, so do you write, like, do you feel like you're going to be writing more songs about like your kid and maybe like his wife Carly? And I'm just curious, like, what kind of, you said that you do also original songs as well as covers. What do you feel like you kind of write most about?
That's a good question. I'm not sure if there is
a common theme,
like a particular theme. The recordings that I've done, I would like group together originals that had particular themes. Like the Tea and Secrets, those are almost exclusively songs about my relationship with Chelsea.
Oh, okay.
And like the story of us getting together and, the songs of excitement and the songs of like, there's one called The Kiss of the Ancient where I was just feeling really down about myself. And like, part of the chorus is like, I know I can't say I have everything you need, and I know I can't say I won't be messy. So it's kind of just like in this place of not necessarily this like self-loathing, but still just like, I feel like she deserves everything, and I don't know if I can give her everything. And so a lot of like that recording, that CD is all sort of just surrounding my relationship with Chelsea.
Yeah.
And then Solveig's Shadow, the big epic rock CD that I did with Greg Johnson, those are more focused on like social commentary and problems that I see in the world and things like that, that are also tied in with some of my own emotional struggles.
You were living in Northern California at the time?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So have you written anything new since you've been up here? Like, has Bellingham sparked any new material?
I have a two-sided answer to that question.
Okay.
I haven't written
yes and no.
I haven't written anything in the typical sense. My songwriting like approach, I haven't done that since I moved here. However, I have started doing a shit ton of improvisation and taking requests, or I should say suggestions from the audience, and then writing new material on stage in real time.
Oh, really?
It's incredibly fun.
Wow.
There are a couple of musicians that I saw online, especially during the pandemic, but even more recently. And I was like, I need to try doing some improv and essentially like freestyle songwriting.
Yeah.
And
did you not know that people did that, or were you kind of shy to do it, or why didn't you do it before?
I don't think I ever like had I think the confidence or like the shyness was definitely a barrier, but I also didn't know that someone in my line of work could do that.
Oh,
like I'd
cool.
seen a lot of the improvisational music like on Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Right.
And stuff like that. But that's such a different type of performance than me like sitting at a winery or a burger joint and like playing.
Yeah.
There is, I was actually during lockdown, obviously everybody was on the internet
losing their
constantly.
minds. Yeah.
And I had two different people who sent me videos by Mark Ribier.
Okay.
Mark Ribier is a YouTuber who does improvisation only. and he like these two different people were like, "This guy reminds me of you." And then my little brother was like, "I feel like if you went through some like huge life tragedy and lost your mind, this is what you would do." And honestly, when then
COVID hit.
Yeah. I mean, this was during COVID, thankfully.
Okay.
And so it wasn't that scary. But yeah, it was like Mark Robier's skill level is incredible and his crowd work is so amazing. And I was like, I need to start looping more. And I got myself a new device to help live loops at my show, especially vocals. I had been doing guitar loops for several years, but adding in vocal loops and being able to do percussion, and then taking audience suggestions and trying out like,
wow,
how do I turn this into a goofy, crazy ass song?
That's awesome.
And it's been incredible. There are a couple of venues that I do like a 3-hour show of improv only.
Wow.
Very, very fun.
What venues are those? Like the Horseshoe?
Yes. Horseshoe.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Horseshoe. I play every other Tuesday, starting at 9 p.m. That's improv only.
Why do you start so late?
Honestly, we started
I want to leave at 9.
I know. Please, when we first started hosting these shows, I was going from 8 to 10:30, and I would be packing my stuff up at like 10:30, 10:45, and then like dozens of people would come in the door
on a Tuesday.
What
are they doing up there?
I think what happens is like Wild Buff down the block. Wild Buff will have shows that end at 10:30.
Oh,
and then everyone's like, "I'm still buzzed and I want to go drink more," and so then they all just pile in at the Horseshoe.
Really?
Yeah,
that's crazy.
So numerous times I've been the show after the show there, which has been fun.
Wow, 3 hours of improv. And so what are you doing tonight at Eagle Haven?
Tonight I'll be doing a combination.
Yeah.
A lot of the folks at Eagle Haven enjoy the covers of like the Eagles and like a lot of 80s rock and stuff like that. And so I'll typically just play what people want to hear, and then throw in a handful of improv songs.
Do they just like shout out covers and you play them?
I use a QR code. So my website has a dedicated page with a list of all the covers that I offer.
Oh.
And then I put little QR codes on everybody's table and they can scan the code and that pulls up the website, and then they just, scroll through the list of song options, and then they can type it in and send it to me.
So like you're just sitting there at your show checking your phone, and that's your set list.
Yes.
What?
It's pretty fun.
Okay, I was gonna stay home tonight, but I kind of want to go to your show.
Honestly,
now.
Even if you're just there for 20 minutes, it's so close. Just pop over.
I know.
I'll play.
I probably don't even change
I'll
into my
make up
pajamas.
a song. No, you probably don't. It's super laid back there.
Wow, that's
and it's
cool.
foggy enough that we're going to be indoors.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty chilly out. So
yeah, I
on
know.
stage.
Where did this weather come from?
Most of this week was so beautiful.
I know. It's just a tease. I was actually supposed to be volunteering for a race, but just with the extremely hot weather and then this weather, it was like it's a recipe for avalanches, and they could not put volunteers in the mountain, and I thought,
Okay, so this was in concrete you were going to do?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we had pre-race check-in for 5 hours, and then there was a dinner, and then the pre-race meeting was at the theater, and then everyone's going to go home, and then we were going to race on Saturday morning.
Okay.
But yeah, all you do is just check the weather, because it's like the safety of the volunteers as well as obviously the athletes. And it's pretty hard. There's another race called the Mount Baker Ultra that's like my favorite race of all time, and you start in concrete and you run up Baker and back. It's 55 miles.
Whoa, and this is on foot?
Yeah. Yeah. So this race I was going to volunteer for was like you run up and you ski down 3 times, but this is like you just start and you run and you come back. When I did a 50K 5 years ago, I broke down on mile 20 and I was like, I'm done. Like my knee hurt. I was just a mess. And this guy was like, oh, well, let me pack up and I can drive you to your car. And that guy is one of my friends who's the race director for the Mount Baker Ultra. Wow. And there's a documentary called The Mountain Runners, which I highly recommend. Okay. It's so incredible because it's the first adventure race in North America, and it was here in 1911. Yeah. And so they raced. So these two groups raced up Baker, and they had to switch and then run down. And one took a car and one took a train, and then reverse. You had to take, the other transportation. Well, the first year was 1911. Harvey Hager was in the lead, and then his train derailed because it hit a bull. And then there's like all these reporters like on the phone, and like the train conductor's trying to get a new train. Anyway, a horse shows up, and the horse takes him to the finish line. Well, at one point it bucked him off before he got there. He eventually gets there. He got second place.
What is going on?
Everyone like felt bad for him, so they passed a hat around because first place was $100, and I think he got like $150 because everyone just felt bad for him. And so this really great iconic black and white photo of Harvey standing there on the tracks. And there's reporters and you see the train like off to on the side, you know,
just
and
tipped over.
It's so cool. And it says at the bottom, it is true there was an element of danger. And I'm like, God, this photo is amazing. Wow. So Dan Probst, who's the race director for the Mount Baker Ultra, that's the name of his company is called Haggard Events. And I was like, dude, you got to have like a logo. Yeah. Hey, I can draw a little bit. Let me do a doodle of that photo, and then that can be your logo. So I did it. Amazing. I showed him, and he's like, screw you, dude. And so, do you know the band July Talk?
July Talk? No, not familiar.
They have a song called Good Enough, and in the chorus, they sing chaos and recover. And that's like how I would describe my running career is it's just chaos, and then I just recover, and it's fine. Right. So the drawing that I did of Harvey Haggard, I have it on my arm as a tattoo. Oh, wow. And then I have chaos and recover below it. So yeah, it's kind of like my buddy was like, I can't believe you got that tattooed on you. I'm like, shut up. I love this race. So the race went on for 3 years. And then at the third year, they're like hemorrhaging money. People were almost dying. Like one guy fell in a crevasse. And he was there for 6 hours. This is before ropes.
Right.
This is before GPS. Like, yeah, 1913. So they had to stop them at Baker Ultra. So that's it right there. That's Harvey in the gray robe. Isn't that cool? On the train. Yeah. Wow. I know, I love it. And anyway, so they made a documentary. It's a really great film. And I saw that right before I met Dan. And so when he said, I'm the race director for this race I'm trying to bring back, I said, what race? He said, the Mount Baker Ultra. I'm like, oh my God, I just saw that documentary. And so I just was fangirling everywhere. I said,
but yeah, let's definitely do some improv. And you can let's have you pick 3 objects. Like I'll do the trumpet and a little bit of your backstory on the trumpet, and we'll have you tell me a little bit more about a couple more objects.
Oh, how about the pickle?
Tell me about
It's a book that my daughter wrote.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Your daughter's name is Olive, you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
And she has 3 books. This is just one.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so that's the pickle, and there's
so chubby.
There's the pickle sequels over there under that black thing, and then we have the trilogy, which I haven't even printed it yet. I got to print it. It's on Amazon. We need to do a book signing. We're hopefully going to find a good spot in Anacortes for a third book signing. She actually has a mini fan club in Anacortes.
I believe it. This looks incredible.
Shout out to Emma and Maddie. Yeah. So the pickle book, the trumpet. Yeah. Oh, and don't forget, you have to sign that before you leave.
The marker board?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you know what? Do you know the Comedy Store?
Yes.
Yeah. So I love stand up, and for my 40th birthday, I told my husband, I'm like, honestly, we don't really do a lot for birthdays. I want to go to Hollywood, and I want to go to the Comedy Store and see a whole bunch of stand up. So we did. Oh wow. And I love just like the wall is all black and people sign it. And so I had a bunch of stuff on that board, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to have my guests sign the board. Yeah. So it's kind of like my version of the Comedy Store wall. Yeah. So the one on the left is Zach, and the one on the right is Wes, because I just started doing it recently. Okay. And then Olive signed the one beside Zach. So I'm like, Olive, what does that say? And I think it says pickle. I think that's what she signed it as.
Olive's cursive pickle.
Yeah.
Can you turn up the gain on this microphone just to get a little more of the guitar?
Oh, it's so funny that you think I can do that. Let me try. Gain. That is.
Or input.
No, gain. Got it.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Okay. Oh my God, I can't believe I knew which dial to do.
We're going to do the trumpet and possibly squeeze in a little bit of Zach's mouth trumpet. And you said you played trumpet when?
I did. I played it in school, in concert band and jazz band.
Contra and jazz.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was awesome.
Gotcha.
I loved it. Yeah. And it's just been an art piece for quite a while.
It looks great over there. It catches the light really
It
nicely.
does. Yeah.
And then I'm also going to sing a little bit about Olive's book, The Pickle.
Available on Amazon.
The Pickle Trilogy. And then what's our third? Should we do the comedy?
Yeah, the Comedy Store wall.
Comedy Store. I was going to say Comedy Center, and that's like almost Comedy Central. Definitely don't want to get that wrong. All right. I'm not amazing at improvisation, but I'm going to do my best to freestyle a little folk. There's this subgenre I just recently learned about, Mumford and Sons. You can think of Mumford and Sons as the pinnacle of this genre called freak folk.
Oh,
where it's like almost like angry folk singers.
Okay.
I don't know if I can get like the freak folk energy, but I'm gonna try.
Okay.
A little bit of freestyle folk singing.
Okay.
Here on Liz's podcast, got the fam, got the farm, got Olive's pickle trilogy. That pickle is so fat, hey, how'd he get like that? Looks like maybe his cucumber water content's too high. Too high. Maybe he was left too long in that vinegar to dry. Here on Liz's podcast, trumpet in the corner on that mini fridge is shining like a national guitar. Yeah, that was a Paul Simon line. But don't look it up, 'cause he was definitely not talking about a trumpet. But Liz could lay down a sweet muted track on that trumpet. Yeah, her middle school days are coming back. Oh, contraband and marching band. Don't you take that trumpet out of Liz's hand. If you move that trumpet, I bet Zach Michaud would let his mouth fill that trumpet void. Oh, baby, please press record for me, and I will lay that sweet brass on your new CD. Yeah, 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 yeah. Ooh, I see you smile, I'm watching you laugh. You think this is funny, what's up with that? I am not one of those comics that you see at the Comedy Store down in LA, baby. But I will take this dark expo marker, and I will leave my name up on your false Comedy Store wall. Yeah, yeah, your false Comedy Store wall. It'll say Michael Dayvid in the corner, real small, yeah. Real small, kind of the opposite of this pickle. Thank you.
Oh my gosh. I don't even know what to say. I can't believe that you just did that.
Thank you.
That's what your shows are like.
Yes.
Oh
yeah.
my God, I'm coming to your show tonight. Funny thing, I grew up on Graceland.
Oh.
That's like everything.
Whoa.
And it came up a couple times recently. So that was really, when you said that, I was like, why
What
did
is
he
going
quote
on?
Graceland? I don't think I mentioned that recently. Wow.
No, I don't think.
Yeah.
I don't think
so
you
grew
said
up on
anything to me.
Graceland too.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
My dad had the Graceland cassette tape,
Oh, nice.
and when he would leave for work, I would sneak into his room and steal it. And then I'd listen to it all day long, and then I would make sure to rewind it and put it back so that when he got home from work, he wouldn't know that I had.
Why could you not listen to it?
He was really finicky. Like he had a whole bunch of CDs that we used to scratch up. Like me and my brothers would scratch the CDs, and then he couldn't listen to Pink Floyd anymore, and he was so upset. And so Graceland was the one that I don't remember ever having it on disc, but we had it on cassette.
That's so
And so
funny.
it was like, don't touch my stuff when I'm at work.
My friends are like, what's the goal of this podcast? I'm like, well, now I want Pamela Anderson and Michelle Milet to be on here. So I think that'd be really cool. Because I've had a couple people who were on TV. Like my buddy Clay that was on here. He was on a tiny home show.
Okay.
Yeah. Have you been on TV?
I was on local news. I played the 7 a.m. broadcast. They were like, we're doing live, like local musicians. And so when they would come back from commercial, I'd play some songs.
Oh, cool. Like your originals, or you just make something up?
I did originals at that time.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I wish I had video for this, because I was laughing the entire time when you were doing that. And I could hear myself, and I thought, no, I have to save this recording, because also like I really want people to like write like an intro for me. So my buddy Clay did. Did you ever hear it?
No.
Okay. I only put in the last couple episodes,
Okay.
but I'll have to send it to you. It is so good. I'm like, God damn, Clay, no one's going to write me an intro because yours is so good. But I think there's several parts in the song that you just wrote that I could use. So
Feel free.
that's okay.
Yeah.
The pickle is really fat. I don't think I've ever really thought about that until you.
Yeah,
So how do you watch it?
They did one season of the reboot, and then there hasn't
That's
been,
it.
they hasn't-
Okay.
they haven't brought it back
So
yet.
we're starting the petition to bring
Yes.
it back.
And then I will get Hulu.
You should do a Veronica Mars song at all of your shows.
Yes.
And then have a QR code that goes to a petition.
I love this. Yes.
If
a
you
redirect,
want to do a request, you have to sign this petition.
Petition for Veronica Mars. My current, the current improv that I do at almost every show is about LED headlights.
What?
Because they drive
For
me
or against?
strongly against. I'll caveat that I'm not opposed to the existence of LED headlights, but they need better angles because they shine in the eyes instead of the road. And I don't want to drive off into somebody's field, and I don't want to like go blind.
But you know what, though? Like, I noticed you pulled up in a Prius.
Mm-hmm.
Respect. I have a Prius, too.
I
I wonder if you drove someone's truck
Mm-hmm.
and you were approaching the same person,
Mhm.
would it still be in your eyes?
No, definitely not.
I think it's our problem because we're low in a Prius.
That's kind of like saying, no, I'm not going to think of an analogy. It's kind of like saying analogies are the problem of the thinker. Yes, I'm definitely aware of that. And that's part of what I put it. There's this one night that I was complaining about like LED headlights. And then I ended with like, but I know it's my fault because I'm in a Prius.
That's awesome.
On the other hand, it's not my fault because it is possible to angle headlights.
Oh, you can?
Yeah.
Oh.
And it's not hard.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do it on a F4, Ford F-250 or whatever. But you can make it so that it just points a little bit more towards the road.
Oh.
And then even if it gets in someone's eyes, it will not be at the same distance because like there'll be a ar hundreds of yards away
Have you
from
researched
me.
this?
No. I think that, I've definitely collected anecdotes, but I have
Take
not,
a poll at every show.
Yeah, I'm working my way towards the scholarship on it.
You're like, I'm going to have a doctorate on this soon. Well, we'll get you to your show.
Thank you.
The one I'm coming to now.
Yes.
I'll change into my pajamas. And I want to put this episode out right now. I just want to like take that song and show it to everybody like now. Seriously,
go
like
for it.
you're like, oh, it's not that I'm not going to be good at it. Like that was amazing.
Oh, thank you.
So like while you're like sitting there tuning, you're just trying to think of like things to say. Like how did you do that?
Honestly, I try to think as little as possible. It's like the more I think about it, the stickier it gets. So I just
funny.
like making sure that I remembered what
Yeah.
you had pointed out. And then I'm like, Usually the rhymes will just like happen
Yeah.
accidentally.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
it's kind of like the less I focus on trying,
Yeah.
the easier it gets.
But honestly, that's really good advice for lots of people.
It's
Like,
such a cool
people
experience.
overthink things way too much. Just like get it out.
Right.
Like, even if it's like you said, like, oh, it's not going to be good. It was amazing. But even if it wasn't, like, at least you're doing it, like your first record, right?
Yeah,
You're like,
yeah.
it's not that good, but you did it. And then
Yes.
that give you the confidence for the next one. And
Absolutely.
God, I can't even listen to my first 6 episodes. I'm like, should I go back and fix them? I'm like, no, it
hurts
shows
to cringe this hard.
it just shows the progression, you know?
Yeah.
And, if everyone only heard like everything that was perfect, like nobody would try. So it's
Right.
like you're kind of helping other people by
Oh, that's kind.
recording, you know,
Thanks.
doing something like that. So anyway, that was awesome.
Wonderful. Well,
All
thank you
right.
so much for having me in,
You're
Liz.
welcome.
This is incredible.
Yeah. All right.
super
I'll
cool
see you
experience.
tonight.
All right.
Thanks.
See you in a bit.
Bye.